Hello, everybody. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. I know everyone else is taking a long weekend, but your boy is here cranking out content for you. And Jenn Tran is giving us that content. She exposed, redacted their names, but exposed some haters. Now, I use the H word, haters, because YouTube is ultra conservative in what we talk about, but you could replace that with the R word, people that have an issue and feel like their race is more superior than others. You know what I'm saying? Well, she's exposing them, and good on her. And it's a great conversation to have. And it's one of the reasons it's great to have representation on the show, whether it be, any of the non-white variety. Because we've had, 90% of the seasons be white contestants. We get it. To have a contestant on the show that's Jewish is a great thing. To have a contestant on the show that may be Filipino is a great thing. And in Jenn's case, to have a heritage where her mom, came here from Vietnam, fantastic stuff. And a whole audience, not just Vietnam, but Asian audience gets to have that conversation and have their voice shared. Not everyone's going to like that, because there are bigots that are out there. And that age-old question we ask is it worth addressing those bigots, or do you just take the high road? I think you can do both. I think you can address it to an extent and then move forward, realizing no matter how much water you bail out of the ship, there'll always be these quote-unquote leaks, which are ignorant and racist people. All right, there, I said it. All right, so anyway, this is what she had to say. Infuriating that people like this exist. And again, you could plug this in with Charity, because she had to deal with a lot of the hate. She dealt with it on Dancing with the Stars too. She dealt with a lot of the hate that's going to come because of the color of their skin. You would think in 2024 we're past that. But that's kind of how life works, is that there are, everyone's on their own journey, and there's a lot of people out there that are bigots, that are close-minded, that only watch the show because Chris Harrison, whatever. And then they get someone like Jenn and they go, what? What's this? Non-white person. So she said, infuriating that people like this exist. She took out their name, although I think you could probably figure it out. It looks like her name's Alyssa Rodriguez, but hey, what do I know? How, I don't know how she spells it. Which, by the way, would be, it looks like she's got a possible Latino last name. How has she represented being Asian? So sick of them saying she's a first. We are all the same people. Black, white, Asian, Latino. It doesn't effing matter. Stop with the race crap.
You cut the crap.
Look, anyone who says stop with the race crap probably doesn't have to deal with the race crap. It's sadly woven into our culture because we are a melting pot country, right? We're a country where a bunch of Western colonial settlers came, and, some regions are Protestant, some are Catholic, some are, whatever, and Baptist, and, people have set up in different sort of communities within this melting pot. So as a melting pot, there is still, that melting pot hasn't always, bled into mainstream media, especially on channels like network TV, right? When you watch Netflix, you're going to have, so much more diversity of a cast than you've had on network TV. Network TV is the slowest to change because it's the most mature, the least risk adverse. And look, you could dive into a dissertation on all of this, but those are the facts. The ABC gets 1 hour to say, here's our story. This is what it's going to be about, versus versus someone like, Netflix. They'll do a show on, Hulu have 90 Day Fiance, and then 7 different versions of Too Hot to Handle and this and that. They are able, or have been able to, and I'm not making an excuse for ABC. I think it's, garbage. Some of their, slow to market policies. But you see that they are the last. I mean, literally the Black Lives Matter movement's happening, and Bachelor almost at the point of being canceled, finally casts a black lead, even though they didn't probably do the work necessary to tell that story, right? So anyhow, when people say, cut the crap, this doesn't matter, it's like, hello, maybe not to you. Someone else said, couldn't agree more. Jenn is first generation American, as my grandparents once were. She is not Asian. She has Asian heritage. I am not European. I have European heritage. We are all people with some characteristic looks, but such things are invisible after meeting someone. I don't even know how to respond to that other than to say, how dare someone try to have a linguistic debate on you're not Asian, it's like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? So Jen, when they're saying, how did you represent being Asian? Well, she clearly shows that. I'll play a few clips for you. Let's see. Let's go to this one from Huffington Post. Here's how Jenn Tran celebrates her identity on The Bachelorette.
I think for the longest time when I was growing up, I struggled with wanting to fit in with everybody else. And that's why I shied away so much from embracing everything that makes me me. And now I'm at a point in my life where I am embracing every single thing that makes me different.
She said, how Jenn Tran
one of the moments
identity.
Actually I saw on the show that was powerful for me was seeing your mom speaking Vietnamese.
Chăm sóc cho con tốt, không bao giờ mà để cho con phải khóc hết, để mà chọn một người rất quan trọng trong cuộc đời của con.
I wanted to showcase things that were true to who I am. And so it's funny because in that intro package with my family, we were going to cook some food and my aunt and mom were like, should we just bring sandwiches? And I was like, we would never do that in everyday life. So no, I would not want you to do that. You should definitely just cook Vietnamese food like we would usually when I would come over. With speaking Vietnamese, my mom was like, do you want me to speak English? And I was like, no, Mom, we would never do that in real life. So I was so proud to be able to tell her that no, I want people to see how we really are and what we really do when we're at home, because that's the whole point, is to be able to normalize our culture. I think for the longest time when I was growing up, I struggled with wanting to fit in with everybody else. And that's why I shied away so much from embracing everything that makes me me. And now I'm at a point in my life where I am embracing every single thing that makes me different.
And, I kind of feel as if everyone has that, right? Where you try to be you try to be what you think everyone else is and try to be normal because you want to fit in. And then the older you get, you realize, no, I should embrace this. I have a sister with a weird first name. She used to hate it. Now she loves it. She's unique. People might not know this, but I have a stepmom who's Vietnamese. My father, my biological father, married a Vietnamese woman. It was his 5th wife, not all at once. He was a man who served in the Vietnam War and has since passed away from PTSD and Agent Orange. It was a brutal time over there. And we have a very interesting, albeit very sad, connection, our country that is, to the Vietnamese culture, just like the French do, and others. We have this issue, like I said, because of in the past colonization. We have, why do we speak French in Louisiana? Well, you could get into that whole story. Why do we own Alaska? How come Hawaii's had their culture, whitewashed by, all these conversations. And yet some people will say, oh, you're just playing the race card. You're just talking about race. It's like, what makes us all different is so much more fascinating in a lot of ways than the things that make us all the same, right? So I love the fact that Jen didn't let her mom whitewash their story and say, no, share with us. Share with the audience that you speak Vietnamese. We can read subtitles. We'll get into it. That's the culture I am glad they showed. And it's hopefully the first of many stories that the show tells that are more diverse than this is Peter from, the suburbs of, it's just okay, we get it. All right, here's another clip of Jen talking about, actually, you know what? Let's go here. I've got another clip here. This is somebody reacting. Point of view. Watching Jenn Tran be the first Asian American, representation you needed growing up, and she did not stutter.
I watched this back and saw how you interacted with all of these men, huffing and puffing your chest everywhere, the blatant disrespect to everybody. And then on top of that, our relationship, everything was about you the entire time. How you were feeling in the moment, what you wanted to do, everything resolved around you. And you watched that back, and instead of growing and learning from that, you decided to double down on that and have your friends and family go out online and defend your honor when you're a grown man. And instead of taking accountability for your actions, you decided to blame it on the producers, the edit, the TV show, whatever it was. And at the end of the day, the man that I saw on TV was exactly the man that I sat across from the entire journey.
So then the other audience was like, damn, she really read him his rights. And of course, he answered the only way he could, which was, thank you very much. But Jen commented on this. I have chills. And Jen responded. Now, again, my opinion watching the show back was that, and it's complicated because in this specific scene, you've got Sam who kind of offered his humility already to the men, but it was his time to kind of hear it from Jen as well, and everyone can move on from that. But yeah, I thought she did a good job. The show's obviously not over. When it comes to how the leads actually act on the show, are they picking the right guys? I never judge them for that. She's getting flack this year because she brought some of the toxic guys more farther along than some of the guys that weren't toxic. But look, if you're not attracted, you can be a non-toxic dude, but if you're not attracted to that guy, it's like, what's the point? So, we all fall for the bad boy every once in a while. So anyhow, I thought that was very interesting. I was going to play this clip as well, but I think we'll leave it at that. So congrats to Jen. Did I miss anything here? I think I didn't even get to what she responded with. 1 second here. She said, I don't love bringing light to negativity, but this is so upsetting to me because this comment comes from someone who grew up never knowing what it feels like to truly feel like an outsider in your own world. This person is selfish and lacks empathy, and that is the ultimate, I don't know what she says. That is the ultimate evil. It is so important to celebrate people's cultures, identities, ethnicities, traditions, and differences. By ignoring them, you are telling us that we don't matter, that our identities don't matter, which is not okay. So good on her. Yeah, lacking empathy is evil. Now, I have empathy for people that lack empathy. You know what I mean? I understand that hurt people. And some people's emotional IQ is so low that they go, hey, we're all the same people. To me, that's also saying like all lives matter, because it's like, look, yes, that is right that all lives matter. Yes, that is right that we are all people. DNA wise, we all have very similar DNA. We're all humans of the same species. Yes, that is right. But by being so dismissive, you are not acknowledging so many of the issues. So like when you take the all lives matter thought, you're not acknowledging that in the moment, the idea of Black Lives Matter was to discuss police brutality and all of the other issues that exist around systemic racism. So if you're not even able to acknowledge that, that is an evil, because that's just, such a simple way to go through life. We try on this show to take a more difficult road, which can be hard. Or I shouldn't even say the word hard, but it can be challenging as a white guy, because you go, what does this guy have to add to the conversation about being Asian on a TV show? And my response to that is, what I have to add is trying to explain to my white brethren how good it is to watch someone discuss what it means to be Vietnamese American, right? And I like to think that what we've proven is that people will stick around to watch a show about love, even if the people on the screen have a different tone of skin color. Now, I don't think the ratings are that high for this season. I don't think it has anything to do with Jen so much as, who's watching TV in the summer, the show's already been on a decline in all of that. So we'll have to see. It all comes down to who's going to watch the finale, which will be Tuesday. I will be here to check it out with previews and recaps. I've also got an interesting podcast episode coming out today. I interviewed the creator of the Baywatch documentary, which is a top 5 documentary. It's probably a number 1 documentary. It's a top 5 show on Hulu right now. You're going to get that interview next on the Rush Hour podcast with Dave Neal. It's fascinating. Stick around for that. We'll be back with more right after this.